Corey, you said that security called you, right? This is Corey Watson, and this is the security guard that was monitoring with the Ontario International Airport yesterday morning. He's engaged with Securitas. It is currently 5:51 a.m. He is here walking around, and he is engaged in what is criminal summoning with the Ontario Police Department. Ontario Police, this is Corey Watson, 80548, who is gang stalking with the Demon Ontario Police, engaged in criminal summoning together. And opportunity with, the gang stalker, that's Securitas, engaged in criminal summoning. And Corey Watson engaging in what is arriving pursuant to what is being summoned by Securitas, who's engaging in calling the police, where he's securing the park, and he calls the police while I'm here. And this is the entity that's engaging in the pattern of conduct together. This is the Ontario Town Square, where I documented the fake sun, both at 6:20 in the evening and also at 7:10 in the morning, which you saw yesterday. And this is where Securitas is engaging, and he is engaged in what is the criminal summoning with Ontario Police. It's Corey Watson that's engaged in the threat that I documented last night at 11, that I'm documenting at the Starbucks this morning. Excuse me, not this morning, at the Starbucks at 507 North Euclid Avenue, just with regard to the entity that's arriving. Corey Watson is engaged in kidnapping on June 16th, 2022. And he is arriving, again, while I am. The entity is engaged in monitoring. The entity is engaged in what is maintaining presence and summoning the police with regard to what is a threat for kidnapping. And I also want to be clear with regard to being present at Ontario Town Square. That is formed for what is the entity that is stalking by the police, okay? The entity that is, again, engaging in what is, he's security. Yeah, he's not here in the morning when I arrived here, and he's immediately calling the police instead of asking people to move first, which is, again, you don't have to, but I just want to give form. The entity is engaging in calling the police for absolutely no reason, which is what this same security guard has engaged in before. And Ontario Police are engaged in criminal summoning. So I understand that the entity is engaging in, for example, making up information like the Ontario Police and Starbucks did at 507 North Euclid Avenue. First, it's, oh, because I need to buy something, and second, oh no, you not purchase anything. They just want you to leave altogether. The entity is making up information. This is Securitas that's engaged in criminal summoning, and Ontario Police are jumping on an opportunity to encounter me. And so being at Ontario Town Square is merely understanding a surface level. The entity is stalking the Ontario Town Square, knew where I was the moment that I got here, and so do the people of the state. This is the form for what is 5 in the morning, and he is here engaging in what is patrolling and gang stalking, like I documented in the morning with the City of Ontario, and he is summoning the City of Ontario as a form of what is threatening, because the Ontario Police Department are engaged in gang stalking and monitoring me. All right, and this is the entity that's engaging in what is waking me up by the Ontario Police Department, Corey Watson, the entity that's engaged in kidnapping, and using it as an opportunity to approach. He's engaged in gang stalking, period. So I just want to make sure that that is clear. Being present at the Ontario Town Square is under no circumstances, and not under federal law, any lawful means of summoning the police that are gang stalking. Moreover, he is gang stalking, and Ontario Police and Securitas are gang stalking together by summoning the police, where the entity already knew where I was sleeping, knew that I set my alarm clock to get up. This is why they're arriving, and this is the form for the entity that is engaged in the pattern of conduct. This is the same one that was switching in the engineer light that I documented yesterday. He's engaged in criminal summoning with the Ontario Police in December of 2020, doing so while I am not even on the grounds besides visiting hours, which is the guise for criminal summoning now. But I want to be clear, the entity engages in criminal summoning when there's not even any surface level reason, meaning like Tracy Banks calling the police for no reason whatsoever, and then denying that she called the police, and then the police are there and they can't get their lie together as to why the police are there in the first place. So I've documented criminal summoning under many circumstances, and this same demon has committed criminal summoning when I am on the grounds between the hours that Ontario Town Square has, and form under all circumstances, but I want to be clear, being here before hours for Ontario Town Square is a surface level. That's meaning that's the form for what is criminal summoning. The Ontario police are gang stalking 24 hours a day, and so is the people of the state. So I want to go through that. This was a form for harassing me, and I just documented this demon gang stalking, so you know what he's doing now, and you know what he was doing. I just documented him yesterday and has already committed. The people of the state are routinely using criminal summoning, and specifically Corey Watson is the entity that is arriving and communicating a threat. Oh, come on. Securitas called police and stated that you have to go. The entity is engaging in what is that form. I just want to be clear. The entity is anxious with regard to summoning the police when this demon is perfectly capable of stating that you have to leave, not stating that it's something that you have to do. That's not the point either. This is speaking to what is federal group stalking and monitoring, and that criminal summoning is an iteration of that, and that this was an anxious method of what is stalking by the same police department, and that this third party, who is also criminally monitoring while summoning the police, is also perfectly capable of requesting as security guard instead of just calling the police as well. I just want to be clear under all circumstances that it is P.O.C. and it's not less of a federal offense. But I do want to document that. And he's been engaged in targeting at the Ontario Town Square as a third-party gang stalker. Okay, but I do want to go through Corey Watson and the state actor are present, arriving at the venue. And this is the entity that is doing so aware of what it is that I do. I literally set my alarm to get up before this demon arrives to engage in security. And this demon is here before 6 a.m. I set my alarm for 6:15 a.m. Communication devices, they're aware of what it is that I'm setting on my phone. Just want to be clear, Securitas is here and engaging in what is the form for what is criminal summoning, because if Securitas is here, then you have a what is cause for what is calling the police. Who called the police? Oh, the security guard called the police. And the security guard is here at 5:50 in the morning patrolling the grounds, and that's why the police are here. And Securitas is not here all night long. The park closes at 10. And Securitas is here. I've been here as early as 6 o'clock in the morning, where the entity is engaged in gang stalking just like they are now. And the entity that's engaged in what is stalking and commercial planes and using government planes, as I'm documenting UPS and United Airlines and Southwest Airlines. This demon was monitoring yesterday the city of Ontario, and he's monitoring now where the same city of Ontario is engaging in that pattern of conduct. Understand that criminal summoning is an iteration of that pattern of conduct. It is federal prison under all circumstances. But I also want to speak to what is before 6 o'clock in the morning, where Securitas is not here walking the grounds all night long. The park closes at 10 o'clock. Securitas leaves and is arriving before I woke up intending to leave the property, okay? And remember, the entity is engaging in what is gang stalking under all circumstances. I just want to get to what is the malice of that, okay? And that is literally him that engages in calling the police while he's engaged in monitoring me with the police. So having Securitas here, and I just want to note the early hour that they're here. Securitas doesn't secure the grounds all night long, so understand what's going on here. The entity having security here, because that's the form for, oh, call the police because you're on the grounds before the park is open. And the police are gang stalking. Securitas is gang stalking. Securitas is also here outside of what is the hours where Securitas is routinely present. If here before 5 a.m. is what is a means of hiring hours, if you will, that he's here. But I just want to be clear that he's engaged in gang stalking under all circumstances, even if his schedule has changed to being here at 5 a.m. Okay, this is the demon that's specifically targeting, and criminal summoning is a means of engaging in what is gang stalking with the police. And moreover, I'm also stating that Securitas is not here all night long, and also capable of being present here in order to be the form for who was calling the police to be at the town square. Okay, I'm stating that all of that is within the pattern of conduct of the entity that's stalking through the police and stalking through the people of the state, whom the entity summons when they're gang stalking together. And the same third party engaged in criminal summoning, which is what that is, because they're gang stalking. Criminal summoning is criminal conduct that's happening amongst state and the government that are gang stalking together. That's why the entity is stalking by plane over the Ontario Town Square, because he is monitoring right now. Criminal summoning is a criminal act, period. I'm giving you what is the practical ways in which the entity engages in criminal summoning, calling the police when they are gang stalking together. Okay, this is P.O.C. It is currently 6:01 a.m. I want to go through that because the entity went to the extent to make sure that they called the police in order for the police to come and approach me, which is what they always want to do, so that they don't look, again, having a forum for approaching me as opposed to what they're doing at 11 o'clock at night when I'm publishing video onto the video of the internet, and they are announcing my name on the speaker when, again, the entity is aware of who I am. How you already know that I'm Erica, and you're surrounding me in the on Euclid Avenue in the middle of the night. And they also knew who I was then, and nobody is summoning the police at that moment, okay? And nobody has to, because the police are gang stalking, including Corey Watson. And the entity is, again, threatening, while Corey Watson, a documented kidnapper, is the state actor that is present, and doing so before the entity knew that I set my alarm for 6:15 to be gone before Securitas arrives. All right, and the entity that's monitoring is aware of that. This demon is gang stalking under all circumstances. It is no less federal prison. I just want to go. That's why I'm going through all the iterations. Having Securitas arrive before Securitas is here, 7 a.m. Okay, but here before 7 a.m. before 6 a.m., 5:51 a.m. and not even saying anything to me, just immediately just calling the police, as opposed to what ordinary security is. Oh, well, you need to leave. I'm not even awake when the entity is present. They're doing it before I'm awake, because if I leave before Securitas is here, then Securitas is not going to be able to call the police. This was an opportunity to approach, okay? I just want to be clear how desperate the Ontario Police Department are in order to encounter me under some, again, it's not lawful when they're gang stalking, and that's what the Ontario Police are doing. They're gang stalking right now while the entity is hovering over Ontario Town Square using smaller planes, because I documented United Airlines, Southwest Airlines, and UPS, and the right here where the entity is rising the fake sun, okay? So they're gang stalking right now while the same iteration of that pattern of conduct is underway by the state that's using smaller government planes. He is gang stalking still. Securitas is gang stalking still, and that is the federal offense of criminal summoning. I am documenting this, and I'm also going to put it on the podcast. This is the entity that's engaging in that with the intent to harass while I'm publishing evidence on the video of the internet, and using specifically Corey Watson and this state actor, whose identity I didn't know. They're specifically using Corey Watson because Corey Watson likes to engage in joking, coking and joking, as though it's comical to engage in gang stalking as a police officer when he's engaged in kidnapping as a police officer, and there's nothing threatening or friendly about it. He engages in terrorism with a smile on his face. He's a psychopath, and he's a violent sex offender, and he is engaging in gang stalking right now, and he's engaging in gang stalking when he is the state actor that's approaching me before the demons knew that I set up and fully intended to leave before 6:30 a.m. I was going to be gone before even Securitas arrived. And this is the entity that's engaged in stalking me everywhere that I'm at, including inside of any place where I'm living, inside of any place such as Tracy Banks' apartment, and while the entity engaged in an unlawful eviction in order to engage in this sort of circumstance where you are sleeping outside and the entity is engaging in what is stalking you at all places. So I just want to be clear, there is no legitimacy whatsoever with regard to what the Ontario Police and Securitas, the people of the state, just engaged in. And I'm giving you the fact, scenarios regarding how they are engaging in this and wanting to make it appear as though it's a natural consequence, and it's not. Their gang stalking under all circumstances. Moreover, Securitas does not secure the grounds all night long. The town square closes at 10. Securitas leaves. Securitas arrives again early in the morning, and this is typically 7 a.m. Under all circumstances, the entity is engaging in what is arriving while they're monitoring on my device, and I intended to be gone before Securitas would be here. The entity waking me up before knowing that I would be here, and using also Corey Watson. All of this is intentional, and they're literally gang stalking on video. The amplified train activity is impossible train activity. This is where the fake sun is rising and setting at the Ontario Town Square. I literally documented this gang stalker monitoring me with the city of Ontario as late as yesterday morning, and he's monitoring right now while the entity is flying over the square with small government planes. It's federal prison under all circumstances. Securitas's headquarters is in Switzerland. They are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring, including right now while being the guides for what is stalking by the police, who use the federal offense of criminal summoning. Criminal summoning is not a lawful act. Criminal summoning is showing you the malicious act that the people of the state and gang stalking police departments use together. and doing so, okay? He doesn't even have to be on the watch, on the job. The entity is engaging in what is stalking. The Ontario Police can approach by themselves. They are equally stalking in the specific environment. The entity is delusional with regard to stating that, oh, somebody else called us and that's why we're here telling you that you need to leave, when the Ontario Police are stalking. I just want to be clear, but I'm going through the circumstance. The entity is engaging in the P.O.C. while they are monitoring on a ceaseless basis, which is what you're looking at here, stalking with light by a sex offender. That's Metro 102. That's gang stalking in relevant position, a demon in the parking lot stalking with a vehicle in the but the entity is engaging in this, and this is another iteration of criminal summoning. All right, it is currently 6:06 a.m. This is P.O.C. That was Corey Watson engaging in criminal summoning. And Corey Watson is the one that's announcing my name in the middle of the night while the demons are threatening me, stalking in the middle of the parking lot, and doing so while they're monitoring on my device while I was uploading the podcast. That was ominous stalking that the people of the state engage in, stalking you, sitting in relevant position to you at also greater distances as well, and engaging in that precise method of stalking with light, aiming their headlights at you. And it's not headlights that's causing light activity at a distance away. That's the demons that are stalking with light. And that is an ominous threat by a gang stalking, kidnapping department such as Ontario Police, who are hostile while I'm publishing evidence on the venue of the internet, where they're engaged in surveillance. And this is Securitas. That third party is that's relevant to federal prison. He's engaged in criminal summoning on more than one occasion. And he's engaging in that and having Securitas here in the morning so that the Ontario Police are able to point at, oh, why we're here right now and you have to leave the Ontario Town Square, is the same gang stalker that is monitoring me, knows exactly where I'm at, and did so pursuant to what is an obsession with me. The Ontario Police are obsessed with my genitalia. The people of the state are obsessed. They're stalking together, and this is that pattern of conduct together, the people of the state with the state, okay? Acting directly and vicariously. It's 6:08 a.m. This is P.O.C. I will be publishing this to the podcast, okay? And I will go ahead and upload it to the drive as well, because it's giving context regarding federal prison for the entity that engages in this. This is the same pattern of conduct where the entity engages in what is kidnapping, okay? Upon what is a criminal act by the government that is exercising authority that it doesn't have under the law, where they are engaging in what is, first of all, summoning the police, and then the police are exercising authority based on the execution of their jobs as law enforcement while they are enforcing property rights. This is the government that doesn't have a jurisdiction. They don't have authority under the law while they're keeping you under surveillance. With the people of the state and the state, that is the Ontario Police are doing. That's the very malicious act, okay? And going to the extent to having the Securitas security guard here earlier than usual. And then this demon just go ahead and calling the police when he could very well, I just want to be clear, there's a reason why all these circumstances are relevant, because they're gang stalking. Aside from, you don't even have to go through all that. It's criminal summoning under all circumstances. The fake son, the entity gang stalking with the city of Ontario. You already know what the entity's doing. That's the Ovid Family Community Library. That's the town's, that's the parking garage where they're gang stalking. That's the 280 North Limit Apartments where they're gang stalking. It's federal group stalking and monitoring under all circumstances. But you're talking about what is federal prison, and I want to go through the malicious conduct, the malicious behaviors, the extent to which the demon possessed just want to be in my presence, including by wearing police uniforms and stating, hey, I'm here for X, Y, and Z because we were summoned by these people over here and we need you to do this, this, and that. And if you don't, then we're going to exercise this authority under the law, when they're demons that are engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. And relevant context is that the Ontario Police Department are heavily documented. They know exactly what it is I'm doing on my devices. They already knew that I was here. So did the people of the state. And Securitas is here pursuant to what is the pattern of conduct. They don't even have a right to be here on the job. That's why I explained those facts to you. That's why this video is so long. Understanding the crime of criminal summoning, and it is equal to federal prison. This is what Tracy Banks is engaging on May 29, 2025. And then this is pursuant to making up information, which he engaged in December of 2020 as well, to create an encounter between the gang stalkers who are the Ontario Police. Under all circumstances, Ontario Police is being disbanded. And the entity is gang stalking in this video. This is, again, not sunlight. This is surrounding with engineer light. This is ongoing surveillance. This is where the fake sun is documented rising and setting at the Ontario Town Square. It is criminal summoning under all circumstances. Corey Watson, the Ontario Police are psychopaths who are gang stalking me under all circumstances. The entity is engaging in delusional behavior. They're engaged in surveillance, and then they're engaging in what is the outward form of what's supposedly policing with the demons who are the people of the state. All right, that's federal prison. It is currently 6:11 a.m. This is POC.